So here we go. Hey there, it's Lenny Magill with the GlockStore Performance and Custom Shop. I'm inside one of the smaller rooms here in Nashville. And again, what we do here is completely different than shooting down a lane. We've got private rooms, which are really important for your training and for your safety even. You know, the idea being you get to shoot in the room by yourself with an instructor or with a loved one or a small group versus a line of people you don't know on a range, on a lane range. Here, this is more private and also safer, we think, but also gives you the ability to do some dynamic training. And often people ask me, well, what do you do? What do you like to do? So today I thought, well, look, I'm going to combine some testing that I'm doing with some training that I like to do. I don't get to shoot as much as I used to, or I want to, should I say. I'm busy, but at the same time, this is kind of work for me. So today I'm going to be working with a Glock 45, which is the hybrid Glock, meaning that it's got the full-size grip, the Glock 17 grip, with a 19 upper, which I really love. This is my favorite design because it gives you that full-size grip, but it still has that mid-size upper slide. It's a Gen 5 version. A couple neat things. Today I'll be testing out, and really we perfected already, but this is kind of my final testing on this Gen 5 new pyramid trigger, which is our Gen 2 triggers. Okay, Gen 2 in the sense that we've redesigned the trigger totally in that it uses pins instead of screws. We've gone through the entire program, smoothed a whole bunch of stuff out, just made it a better product. So now we have a Gen 2 trigger, which will fit into your Gen 5 Glock and your Gen 4s we make them for, and your Gen 3s. We just happen to call the pyramid trigger Gen 2 because like I said, we've improved it. It's a better product. And here I'm going to test it today in this Glock 45, Gen 5. Is that confusing? Yes. Me too. But before we do that, let's talk about what I like to do when I get to the range. You know, shooting down a lane at one target is a little boring. After a while, is that it? You can shoot a little faster. Usually if you shoot too fast, they tell you to slow down a little bit because they don't want everybody shooting fast because people end up shooting the ceiling and the lights out. Here in these ranges, we encourage you to shoot fast. In fact, we encourage you to shoot fast and accurately, but also at multiple targets. And that's what I like to do, is shoot at multiple targets. So today's drill is really an exercise that I've been doing for many, many years that allows you to index target to target. So I've got two targets set up down here, relatively close. Again, you know, self-defense shooting is going to be relatively close, but I always tell people this, and what's really interesting, people say, well, how do you get to shoot fast? I want to shoot fast. Well, everybody wants to shoot fast. So practice and start with close distances to gain confidence. You want the targets to be close enough so that you can actually, you know, really hammer down on speed and practice speed. So once you practice speed, and once you get the physical motion of going from target to target to target to target with a rapid pace, then you can dial down a little bit for better accuracy. But you know, I know a lot of people say, well, get accuracy first, and that's true. You have to understand the dynamics of accuracy. But for this type of shooting at these kind of distances, it's a little different play. You know, typically you're going to line up the front sight in the rear notch. That's your accuracy. Get it all leveled up. Get, you know, equal amount of light on either side. Squeeze the trigger, hold the sight, squeeze, and bang, there it goes, right? Does it again, hold, bang, and boom. Now, the question is, can you do that faster with the same degree of accuracy? Typically, yes. Although your accuracy may not be perfectly the same, for these type of distances and this type of style shooting, which is basically self-defense, index style shooting, the target size all of a sudden, you know, becomes much more realistic, bigger. So whereas when you're plinking and you're sitting there looking at the sights and you're really trying to dial in, you're trying to hit nickels at a distance or even close up. You're trying to really be tight. At this style shooting, for what we're trying to accomplish here today, the speed, we're going to go ahead and really think about this 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that I've got downrange here. So here's our two targets. Again, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. This is our hit zone. Anywhere on this paper is going to be okay. I'd like to keep everything right here in this 5 group, really right in this part. But if you think about self-defense accuracy, you know, that's basically what you're talking about. Can you hit the paper at speed? Now, even the target itself is still self-defense accuracy. This being more of the stopping zone that we're looking for. Same thing I got over here is just another target. They're about 6, maybe 7 feet apart. The concept that we're going to do today is go from target to target to target to target. We're going to go back and forth, back and forth. So we're coming up, boop, 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 boop. And we're going to do that several times, single shots. Then we'll do it several times, double taps, to work our mechanics physically of going from target to target to target to target to target to target and come back and forth. And if you put some effort into it, it's an exercise. Effort meaning that you're tensing up the core of your body so you can control the recoil. Of course, we want to do all the standard basics, stance, shoulders above toes, kind of that athletic boxer stance. You want to put weight forward somewhat. Grip, I want to have a good strong grip with my right hand, but an even stronger grip with my left. And you can see what I'm doing here. I'm putting my right hand right here, pointing that finger down as if I'm pointing at you or the target. Target to target, target to target, right? So there's my point index. And then here is that left hand trying to put as much meat on the frame as possible so that I can control recoil. And then I'm squeezing that left hand on the right. So really, I'm controlling the gun with that left hand, leaving my right hand, you know, about 80% so that my trigger finger is agile, has dexterity. I can move it faster. If I don't crunch down too much, all of a sudden I've got to have a trigger finger that kind of gets rigor mortis. Here, I want that trigger finger to be somewhat, you know, loose, but at the same time, I still have to have a grip. But that's where that left hand comes in because it squeezes that right hand onto that left hand. That left hand, you know, squeezes that right hand onto the grip, and then it's boom, 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 boom. That's our drill today. We're going to be using, like I said, this new Pyramid Gen 2 trigger because it's brand new, and I think you're going to really love it. This is a drop-in trigger, by the way. There's no adjustability on this. I've already tested the weight. It's about 4¼ pounds just by dropping it right in, just like that. So that's kind of fun. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and change the guide rod out on this gun. So to do that, it's a real simple procedure. We sell a tungsten guide rod that will replace the plastic guide rod. Just going to take the upper off. The guide rod sits right here. So I'll push it down just a little bit and yank it out. We replace it with our tungsten guide rod. It's a drop-in replacement. Takes about less than a minute to do, 30 seconds. Pop it in like that. That extra weight of the tungsten rod versus the plastic rod, which is significant, you can feel the difference, will help reduce recoil and keep the gun on track, shot to shot, target to target. So it's a dead weight under the barrel, which helps reduce muzzle flip and felt recoil in your hand, which is really phenomenal. So then we're going to come bump, 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 and we're going to go back and forth. So that's the drill that we're looking to do, is go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm going to go through a full magazine. So the key is to incorporate all that proper techniques and then get yourself in a situation where you basically, wherever you're looking, the gun goes with you. So you're not necessarily turning your head and bringing the gun to it. You're driving the gun with your eyes to the next target. So the gun's coming along with you. You want to keep that sight picture in that field of view as you go from target to target to target to target. And like I said, if you do this right and you really get into it, it's an exercise because it really will develop and call on your core muscles to keep yourself tight enough so that that gun's not jumping all over the place and you're able to come back and forth with somewhat of speed, all right? Now, before I start, one of the things I like to do is take a little bit of oil. And I'll show you what I like to do for oiling a Glock before I shoot it. Put a little bead of oil right here
on the hood of the barrel. Not a lot, just a little. That's what's nice about these little adapters we sell, because they got this little needlepoint adapter. Okay, now I'll lock the slide back, and I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of oil on top of the barrel. And you'll notice what's happening. There's a little metal-to-metal contact there. There's metal-to-metal contact there. The other thing I can do is put a little bit of oil on the rails. So I'll make this go away a little bit. See how it all disappears? Just by that motion, it's going to migrate itself around. Now I'm going to go ahead and just take the slide off and put a little bit on the rails. And not a lot. You don't really need a lot of oil on the Glock, but I'll just put a little bit here just to loosen things up, because I haven't shot this gun in a little bit. Now, one other place to put oil is right here under the connector, the ear of the connector. So there's the connector right there. So I'm going to put a drop of oil right underneath it. And what that's going to do is going to migrate itself down, and that's where the trigger bar and the connector come together. So having a little bit of oil there is always a good idea, because it reduces friction, which in turn will reduce your trigger pull, which in turn will make you a faster and more accurate shooter. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and do that. And last thing I got to do is load a magazine here, and then we will get ready to roll. It's ready to go. Okay, so now, this is a standard Glock 17 magazine with one of our double diamond connectors on it. It allows us to put 23 rounds in the gun, 5 extra rounds of 9mm, 4 extra rounds of 40 caliber if in fact you are shooting a Glock 22, say. All right, now, if you don't have a LULA loader, you need one. And here's why. It makes it so much easier. And we sell a ton of these. Everybody who starts to shoot, once you load magazines, you realize how boring and how tedious it is. This makes it a lot easier. In fact, you can do it and not even look after a while. So I like to grab about a handful or so, just about 10 or 11 at a time. And like I said, this thing makes it so much easier. I just wanted to show you how easy this was. It's a gross muscle movement. You can put it on the table, like so. I like to actually put it up here on my stomach so it's closer, and plus I can walk around at this point too and look at other things and do other things. All right, well there's 17, 18, 19 maybe. I'll put a couple more in here just because. All right, certainly more than 17. So there's my mags. I've got another mag here too. So we're going to go ahead and just run through a couple magazines and do this drill. And the idea behind the drill, again, is to keep our shots on the paper, but also to really focus on that movement back and forth, and try to speed it up as we go and see at what point does speed start to affect our accuracy. At what point does too fast affect our accuracy? You know, so everybody's got a limit as to how fast they can shoot before the accuracy starts to fall. But this drill helps you become faster because it helps you develop that motion and that speed between targets. All right, so we're going to get our eyes and ears on here, turn the air on here, and we'll go ahead and shoot a couple of these things and see how it goes. All right, let's go ahead and load up here and get ourselves started with these targets. Now again, they're not far away. A lot of people are going to call me on that and say, well, oh my gosh, they're so close. Well, yeah, they're close because I want them to be close, because I'm really practicing speed. I'm not practicing accuracy. I mean, I know I can sit here all day long and line up the sights and basically hit, a target, a nickel size at 20 yards. Okay, it's not that challenging after a while, but can I go target to target, shot to shot, and develop some speed? Yes, and keep it on the paper? Yes, that's what I want to do. So let's load up here. I'm not going to use a timer. I'm just going to go back and forth. So here we go. Just like that. It's kind of fun. And everything's on the paper. So it's interesting. My second shot over here is actually better. So you'll see that I'm going to swing some of these shots off to the left as I come across. but everything's basically where I need it to be. And then over here, this being the second target, a much better group. Had just one miss, and that was an early shot. So I just came across and I saw it go early. But those are the things you learn when you practice. You say, oh, I just was a little bit early, a little bit too fast. And like I said, what point does speed start to affect your accuracy? So we'll just do that again. Kind of stuff I like to do is just go and have some fun. All right, we're ready to rock and roll. Everything's good and ready. Here we go. All right, you can see I get a little sloppy right here. And I can see myself just getting a little bit lazy. And a lot of that is that core strength. I can feel myself, kind of getting tired after so many times. Towards the end, gets a little bit of jellyfish in there, and it's not quite as great. This one over here, yeah, I'm hitting the target. But I really want to keep them all right here. So that's a drill that I like to do when I come out here to test these triggers and test other parts. You can see that the tungsten guide rod really helps the levelness of the gun. You'll notice everything's really in the same level. All these shots are really effective for self-defense, and that's what I'm looking for. Let me grab another one here. Here's another mag. This time I'm going to do the same drill with double taps. It's in there, and we're ready to rock and roll. And again, no timer, just really about me. It's kind of fun too, huh? Now, can you do this in a normal range? No, that's why you come here, because this is the kind of stuff you need to practice. If you want to become a good self-defense shooter, someone who can manage a handgun target to target, you got to practice drills like this. And we can do that here at our indoor range, the Shoot 270 here in Nashville. So anyways, I'm Lenny Magill. This has been the GlockStore. I'm going to shoot a whole bunch more rounds, but you've probably seen enough. But if you want to shoot like this, come on down right here and do it yourself. Thanks for watching.